One of the first initiatives for President Trump is a $500 billion idea to motivate AI through infrastructure. What would be the payoff for us? The payoff would be that you would be able to develop tailor-made treatments, therapeutics, and vaccines for people. And you would be able to work on diseases and viruses and illnesses that have long evaded any real type of cure. Let's bring someone in who can speak to the potential here, but also the controversy of it. Georgia Republican Congressman Rich McCormick, a doctor also. It's good to see you, brother. Happy New Year.
Good to see you, too. Thanks for having me on.
What are you, like, hiding in a parking garage? What are you, like, trying to steal a BMW?
This is how much I like you. I left dinner with my son, who just turned 21, just to be out here with you in the middle of dinner. That's how much I like you.
Well, first of all, God bless your son. That is a great milestone. What is the first beverage he's ever had with his dad?
He had a glass of wine, a very nice glass of wine. It's a French Chardonnay that doesn't taste like a typical Chardonnay. And he's a pretty mellow dude. He's not the kind of guy who's going to go out there and get drunk. He's a good boy. I'm lucky with, blessed with three very healthy, genuinely good men. They're all going to make great husbands and great fathers, and I couldn't be more pleased.
Great for you, Doc. That is beautiful. Thank you very much. I'll make it quick. So what is the potential, first, of AI in the field of medicine for us? Do you believe in what is being suggested?
You know, it's unlimited, really. AI is an extremely powerful tool, not just in the way we treat patients, actually, even in the way we bill. If you think about it, we have some massive problems right now in medicine, the expense, in the way that we get 40% of our submissions for ER aren't even reimbursed from these insurance companies. And 4 of the top 10 companies in the United States in profitability are from insurance companies that make a lot of money off us, and yet we're not curing the disease. But when you talk about curing the disease and what AI can do, and sensitivity to cancers that right now we don't detect early enough to treat, like pancreatic cancers and some breast cancers, ovarian cancer, cervical cancer, things that could be cured if it's caught very, very early. This could be a new way to detect it very early and treat it and actually cure it, where we could never do that before.
So what does President Trump do, and how does he enlist the help of Republicans like you to talk to people who, as soon as they hear the word vaccine, say, no way, last thing we want is another vaccine, because of how they feel about the COVID vaccine and other vaccines? How does Trump sell them on this?
Well, we have to realize that every treatment, it doesn't matter what it is, when you talk about cancer, the most advanced cancer treatments are immunotherapy. It works kind of like a vaccine, but it's not really. We should call it immunotherapy. In other words, you're training your body to go after these cells that shouldn't be in your body to begin with. Could there be side effects? Of course there could be. But with any medication, any radiation, any kind of chemotherapy, there's always going to be side effects. This one actually has less than most. But of course, there's always going to be risk with any treatment you do. That's the way life is. When you have something that's going to otherwise kill you, this is a way to find a solution that may or may not be as helpful as you want it to be, but at least it gives you a chance, a real chance at the best possible outcome given the technologies we have right now.
Do you think that this can pass Congress, or do you think the anti-vax pressure on the right will get Republicans in a fix?
I don't think it's going to be that. I think what's really going to hold it up is the expense. How do we pay for it? Right now, we're building $1 trillion of debt every 100 days. That is extremely concerning to me. And I want to see the private industry fund this. You're going to make money off of it. You fund it. I want to see right now, the individuals are putting more spaceships up in the stratosphere than all the countries together. This is the time for our individuals to do their own R&D and then benefit off that profitability-wise. I don't think the government needs to foot the bill on this, and I'm very, very concerned with anything the government is really advancing through a lot of investments, because that's what the Democrats did, is they picked winners and losers on who they invested with. That means we choose what company gets paid, how much they make. No, thank you. I want to stay out of that business.
Yeah, you wonder why the tech bros were hanging out at the inauguration. Now you got a little bit of an indication. Hey, Doc, I'm going to let you go. God bless your son. When we go to break, I want the producer, let me know where you are. I want to buy you guys dessert. I'm very happy for you and your family. Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget, Click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.